welcome back to my channel. We are outside and it's raining, but I didn't want anything to come in the way of me filming now, where I'm meant to be at this time. This angle allows you to see the trees, and I just think it's more authentic this way. Like, I don't have a fancy setup or anything like that, but I just thought I would whip out my phone to chat and just talk about what I've been thinking. So recently I don't know where to start. Okay, let's start from the beginning. So when I was growing up, I didn't really get my eyes checked until I was around 11 or 12. And during that time is when I discovered that, I needed glasses and I have a lazy eye in my right eye. I had blurry vision and couldn't see properly in it. And in my left eye, I had like near perfect vision. And in my, at this stage of my life, like, I don't know why it took so long to have my eyes checked out, or to get them checked out to realize, because when kids are little and you find out that they have a lazy eye, what happens is they tend to they recommend putting an eye patch on the other eye to allow the weakened eye to, gain strength and form those neural pathways and development. And it's better when you catch it early on, so that, as the brain develops, everything in your brain works smoothly, and you can, I'm not a scientist, but I'm sure it's beneficial to have both eyes with the ability to see. So then at around 11 or 12, when I found this out, I got glasses. But during this time in my life, I was really, really insecure. I was overweight. I think I started getting acne, and I didn't, know how to take care of my hair. And there was a lot of things developmentally that I felt like I was a little stunted in. So I did turn to the internet to teach me how to do like makeup and learn about fashion and all these things like that. All the beauty influencers, beauty gurus of like 2012. But with that being said, back to the glasses. So I was deeply insecure about everything. And so when I got these glasses, I tried my best to wear them as much as I could, but I felt really insecure with everything I was going through. So on top of that, adding glasses, and braces, it just was a mess. And so adding glasses on top of that, I was like, So I decided that I wasn't a big fan, and kind of wore them in and out throughout my, take a sip, and just wore them in and out of my childhood. And then into high school, I got another pair of glasses that I liked a little more, and I wore them more, but I wasn't wearing them very often. Again, insecurities and such. But then a few years ago, I went to the eye doctor again, and they had told me, Shiri, you are going to lose vision in your right eye if you do not wear glasses, or wear them frequently, or try to strengthen that eye. So I said to myself, okay, so I really made sure that I picked a pair of glasses that I really, really liked, because I just knew I had to wear them. They were going on my face, and I really wanted to like them. And I was like, we need to find a pair of glasses that we can wear consistently. So I did. Actually, it wasn't these ones in particular, but so I did. And so as I started to wear my glasses, people started to compliment them. And at this time in my life, it's in university, I'm coming into myself a little bit more, whatever. And then, okay, where was I? Yeah, so, and then, recently, and just in the past few months, I've started noticing that my muscles in my right eye, even though I'm wearing glasses more often, are just becoming tired and strained. And I noticed that even when I would smile, I think you can even notice it in some of my older videos, and like as I was just, working, going to school, lack of sleep, not poor nutrition, just like nervous system out of whack, because I was like working 4 nights a week, at school during the day, I'd go to the gym, feed myself, live my life, all kinds of things that I was trying to do, keep myself regulated. I recently noticed that like my right eye started to twitch, and so I was like, why is this, like, it's twitching a little bit more, why is it twitching? So I ended up starting to, oh, that's so cute. I don't know whose dog that is, but this dog is like vibing out. Oh, there, it has an owner, very cute. But then it was when I decided, you know what, like, it's moving, it wants to be noticed, like, it obviously wants me to pay attention to it. So I started to, on my own, pay more attention and kind of like strength train my eye. And I've been slowly but surely, I know it's not perfect, strengthening my right eye by doing like, exercises with it, covering my like good eye, and like, reading, or trying to like read things on, like do the things I'm doing, but like really understand, because when you're looking at something and it's blurry and trying to understand at the same time, it's like a whole process, because when you see things, you're also perceiving things, and then to understand what you're reading, and then on top of it being blurry, you're like, what is this? How am I supposed to understand what I'm looking at? But that's the whole, brain eye connection piece. Like, I'm not a scientist. There's this, and in my self-development, I've also learned about like neuroplasticity and like positive, affirmations and gratitude, and like in my self-development journey, things I've already been working on. I realized strengthening my right eye, and in the process of strengthening my right eye, it's helped allow me to reform or form neuroplasticity in my brain, which has allowed me to see colors brighter, and also, so yeah, strengthen the muscles in my right eye to where my eye doesn't look like it's so where it stays open, aware, and helps me see, but also strengthening the neuroplasticity in my brain to where I'm able to recover the left side of my brain, because it's the left brain, right eye, that I don't want to say lost, but just that didn't get developed in childhood, which is the side of your brain that's responsible for like logic, numbers, reasoning, I don't know, routine, I guess, like just very like the logic, whatever comes with the logical side of your brain. And so after thinking back to my like development and my childhood and all these things, I realized I've struggled with those things. I struggled with math, I struggled with problem solving, I struggled with all kinds of things, because I had a lot of these like neural pathways disrupted or missing, or whatever terms, I'm not a scientist. But slowly regaining these either regaining or forming these pieces of my brain has actually allowed me to perceive differently, process differently, show up differently. Not show up completely different, because I've been like, I'm very, very into what I'm doing, and I have my structure and all this, but it's allowed me to strengthen the things that I'm doing, perceive differently, have strengthen my perspectives, and be sharper in my thinking, and all kinds of benefits I'm noticing from doing so. And growing up, I had, like, growing up, it's like having, the reason why these things were overlooked and gone unnoticed And the reason why I believe that this happened to my eye was a result of emotional trauma. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but as a result of emotional trauma. When you have emotional trauma during childhood and development, you can, it can disrupt the way that your brain develops and the neural pathways in your brain and the neuroplasticity, and which can affect the way that you grow up, the way you show up, the way you perceive, the way you, the way you move, the way you navigate through the world. And I never really had a proper, I have parents. I never really had solid parental figures, because this is just my perspective. The people who gave you life, they're not always they're not always capable of parenting you or being good parents, right? And so it just, I think it just depends on how you take that, but yeah, so the people who gave you life does not always mean that they are able to provide you guidance and protection and security and love, something that a parent is supposed to be doing, right? And how I relate this to there's people. How I relate this, I feel like I'm being so loud, and how I relate this to the show Naruto is that when he grows up, he doesn't have, his parents are not around, and he's left to, and I'm not saying that my situation is exactly like this show, but just hear me out. So he grows up without parental figures, but he finds himself, looking to mentors and the world to kind of teach him and shape him, and authority figures and people he's inspired by and people he doesn't want to be like, to help him understand himself and go into himself more. And then with Sasuke, he leaves his village for whatever reason, good or bad. If you've watched the show, it's kind of a whole lot with him. But through him leaving the village to go on his quest for whatever, at whatever points, he gains the ability, or kind of comes into his own understanding of the ability to realize his powers, come into his powers, and I'm trying to find the right word. But he also gains powers, and his powers come from his eye. In particular, one of the most powerful powers, I'm forgetting the word, but one of the most powerful abilities that you can have in this world, in this show, comes from his particular clan, which is far few and in between of these members left, but is this power that comes from, I believe it's the right eye. I forget what it's called. I know one of the abilities is the Sharingan, but there's I totally forget. It's been a whole minute since I've watched the show. Big fan of the show. I even have a Hidden Leaf Village tattoo on my left ankle. And no, I didn't finish the entire show. I finished up until, I think, after the Pain arc, beginning of War arc. But I've seen clips and understand the premise for the rest. But yeah, so back to where I was saying about my eye and how, I kind of relate to themes of this show and how I found new strength in strengthening my right eye. And I'm not exactly sure the plot here of why I'm sharing this thing that I've made a realization about myself. But I guess the theme and the plot would be through self-discovery and a lot of inner work and self-development, you can unlock powers within yourself. And they may not be that, your right eye has crazy powers, but in healing yourself or doing the work for yourself, whether that be like learning how to, emotionally regulate, or through eating clean, diet and exercise, even the most basic things, working on one area of your life may end up actually benefiting another area of your life. Like, for example, if you spend time working on your health and fitness, you will realize that your relationships will get better, or maybe you'll feel more confident in yourself and put yourself out there a little bit more, and then you will maybe meet a partner if you're feeling more confident, you're putting yourself out there. Like, who knows? Or maybe through reading or learning a skill, you can not only end up gaining knowledge, but you'll end up maybe meeting a community and earning money, like all kinds of things, like these inner workings of self-development. So I guess that's the point. And also, yeah, that's the entire point. I don't really have much more to say. But I hope this message resonates with somebody, and take it as it resonates. And I hope this was empowering and made you think a little bit. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I love you so much. Bye.